Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy.
Let's talk about The Bachelorette. Hey guys, we are back for what I would consider to be an action-packed episode here. Christy, we're going to talk about everything that goes on, obviously, but before we do, I think you might have some little tidbits for us.
Yes, there was a couple things. Well, one of them is not urgent. It's just something I thought was funny. So, Bachelor Nation contestants filmed Family Feud. It's going to air in August. And it's slightly awkward because Michelle and Nate filmed together. And now they are not together anymore.
So this is the actual Family Feud television show?
Yes.
Huh. What were these families?
Well, it's like Bachelor Nation family.
ABC is really doing their best to keep the bleeding at a minimum, aren't they?
I guess. And the other thing was Nick's girlfriend, who is practically half his age.
This is Nick Viall.
Yes. Had some unflattering TikToks surface. Well, actually, one of them surfaced. One of them she just released, which is pretty mind-blowing to me, considering the climate in the year 2022.
Wait, so what was going on here with these TikToks?
So she is dancing and just it's a very cringy TikTok, but it appears she may have mouthed the N-word at the very end. And then there was another video from 2021 that came up that also has her dancing and gyrating to another rap song with that word in it. That one she might not have said it, but it's just weird.
And so people care about this?
Well, Reddit does.
Can we stop giving airtime to young idiots?
Well, TikTok gives airtime to everyone, unfortunately.
And you wonder why I hate TikTok. Yeah, look, to each their own, but I really struggled to see the point of TikTok personally. And so she did some weird, presumably it was some sort of trend dance probably.
Oh yeah, they all are.
And it's also just really weird to me to be okay with being in a relationship with someone so much younger than you. It's just weird.
Yes, it's I don't understand that.
It just seems like among all of the multitude of weird things about it, it's like one of the big ones, say this a little tongue-in-cheek, is that if you do that, your partner may be a TikTok idiot.
Yeah, they're just in two different places in life. But
evidently, one of them is doing his thing, and the other, she's just mouthing the N-word.
It'd be very interesting to see if he mentions this at all on his podcast this week.
Oh, that's right. What is his podcast again?
The Viall Files.
And that's pretty popular.
Yeah, he gets thousands of views every week.
Well, maybe not for long. No,
I don't think that's going to have any impact at all.
No, see, this is one of those things that I feel like very much plays into the. I don't know if you can always consider it an echo chamber, but I feel like in a lot of ways, Twitter and Reddit tend to be very self-contained. So you'd have something like this that people on Twitter are like, "Oh my goodness, this is just awful," and she should be sent off to Alcatraz, and how dare he be in a relationship with this person who's going around dancing and mouthing the N-word. And you have threads about it on the Bachelor subreddit, and then nobody in the real world cares.
No, because the majority of the viewing audience is not on Bachelorette. Bachelorette is like the small group of super fans. Like,
right, you think Wine Mom from, Illinois is on Reddit?
No.
Probably not. If I've offended any Illinois wine moms here that are hip and with it and on Reddit, I apologize. But yeah, it's very much like you have to have a Chris Harrison level scandal to sort of break out of that subculture into the main culture and have it actually make an impact, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially since Natalie is not an actual Bachelor Nation person.
I bet the producers at ABC are thanking their lucky stars for that. They can disassociate if necessary, with less blowback, presumably. Not so much in the Chris Harrison front. Well, what an exciting little diversion. See, this is what you all listen to us for. It's just juicy little fun stories like that. Well, unless you have anything else, Christy, let's talk about episode 3.
Yeah, kind of a wild episode, I thought. Also very confusing at times.
Yeah. Go for it.
Well, Jesse promises that we will have 2 incredibly romantic one-on-one dates and a massive group date. So we start with Zach on a one-on-one with Rachel. And they meet up with Karamo. I don't know his last name, but he's from Queer Eye.
I think he only has one name. I think he's like Beyonce or Pink or Madonna or all of the other Prince.
That's always interesting to me when people only have one name.
So television host, I guess. And so
he gives them like a whole bunch of outfits to try on because they will be going to a movie premiere.
Right. And so I guess this is just keeping with, because Queer Eye is they go and they meet someone and give them a makeover, I guess is the premise. So that, I guess that was our introduction here. We don't necessarily have to talk about this yet because we have some other drama before the real date. Let's talk about Gabby, can we?
Okay.
She was just upset. She was upset by her little visit to the men. Because she was like, oh, I'm just here all by myself. Rachel's having fun without me. And so she went over to see the guys who were just chilling, hanging out, and played a little flag football, though really, it didn't seem like it was more like just catch. And yeah, she's talk about how she handled this, because I'm very interested to hear your perception of what happened here and her response.
Well, I feel like there must have been some stuff edited out, because it seemed like the men were just interested in like congregating with each other, chatting it up, but not really interested in talking with her, which didn't make any sense to me. Like,
we've had this problem before, though.
Yes, but like Gabby shows up, theoretically half of you should be interested in her based on results at the end of the episode. So, like, why? And I didn't understand, like, what was happening there. Like, were they told they couldn't really talk to her, or was the conversation just super lackluster? I don't know. Either way, she felt like neglected and that nobody's making an effort, which led to a whole lot of tears. And
I would say this really, I feel like this was the super villain origin story. And I'm not look, I'm saying that jokingly because I don't view Gabby as a super villain, but like really in my opinion, this is the catalyst for everything else that happens in this episode, in my opinion, with all of the format and everything. I think this is the start of that chain.
Interesting. I mean, I just feel like this format that they started with was not sustainable.
Oh, absolutely not. And I think that anybody with a couple eyeballs or even one eyeball would be able to tell you that, like, this whole BFF, we're in this together, like, you have to chop everything down. There's no way you can keep this. And so I definitely think, as I keep saying through past episodes, hurt feelings were inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with the level of hurt, but I also wasn't the one going through it, so I can afford to sit on my high horse and look down upon these people. But
that's why I'm wondering what else was cut out, because it doesn't seem like, I don't know, a few lackluster conversations would lead to all of that. Like, it's like, what else happened at the mansion there when she went there?
Look, these producers are sneaky. They keep things from us. She seemed quite upset with like the lack of physicality and intention and all of that.
It could be that some of them also didn't want to commit one way or the other to her instead of Rachel. So I don't know. It was weird.
Right. And we've been over this before as well. The difficulties in having the two bachelorettes and having guys be there, having to decide how to play that, so if, for example, Gabby shows up to the mansion with you and Rachel's off on her one-on-one, if you're showing real big interest in her, how does that play out later?
Yeah, they didn't want to show their cards. That could have been part of it.
Right. And I mean, maybe you're right that they just didn't show us some stuff, because it seemed like the level of upset was not necessarily warranted by what we saw. But again, I'm sure there are a lot of complex emotions that happen as you go through that and deal with all that nonsense. That's why I'm sitting here talking about it instead of submitting to bachelor.com/casting so that I can keep emotional distance and safety. Sorry.
I was just going to ask, what did you think of those outfits Karamo gave Rachel and Zach to wear?
I'll be totally honest with you. I hated them all.
I did as well. I actually didn't even like the dress Rachel showed up to the date in.
Well, as I told you as we were watching it, it looked like she was covered in pollen.
Well, that one was bad too. I'm talking about the dress she wore on the date. Yeah. That one with the leaf pattern.
Okay, I didn't hate that. It was a little loud. It was
very busy.
Look, it's just a floral dress. Look, I am not going to have any problem with that.
But yes, the one that you called like the pollen dress, that one was, I didn't understand that one at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they have to get all gussied up because they have a premiere later.
Yes.
I don't know. I felt like the sort of chill cocktail conversation with our friendly special guest thing was pretty standard.
Oh yeah, there was really nothing there. Ramo asked, is he all in? Of course he's going to say yes. He's on a one-on-one date with her.
You kind of got to. I'm sure too that the producers just give them a list. Here are 4 questions. Ask 2 of them. I would assume that's just how I think the process works. But yeah, what did you think about the rest
premiere,
the rest of this date?
This was such a letdown.
Right, especially since Karamo, how dare you? How dare you?
He basically straight up lied. They ride up and you see 6 photographers.
Right, because he's like, I got you into a movie premiere.
And then they have this short red carpet. Mm-hmm. And you're just
a small area of that, the backdrop that people get photos taken with.
But there was nothing else there. So that's when I'm like, what is going on? Why are there only 6 people taking photos? Where is the rest of everybody else, the crowd?
Because spoiler alert, it's not a real premiere.
Yeah, they walk into an empty movie theater.
Yep, completely empty. Just a man all alone up on the stage playing a piano.
And then some movie theater popcorn and wine or whatever.
My word. And then, of course, dun dun dun, it's not a real movie. Because I looked it up, okay?
Yes,
I wasn't
you
sure.
did.
I wasn't sure which direction. Because it's they were told me and you, or you and me, and I looked it up, and either it was a movie from 2017 or 2012, and lo and behold, it turned out that it was just
home videos
from their respective childhoods played out in front of them with piano accompaniment. But in case you thought that it wasn't special, they also included a message from Rachel's mom and Zach's mom in the montage.
They did. They always do that to elicit the tears.
Right.
On
They were
date.
just it was just so romantic, and they were both just fighting back tears. And it was a special moment, and we were both just sitting there you lied to us, you piece of garbage.
I know. I couldn't even really focus on the home videos. I was just let down from the premiere thing. Also, someone on Twitter pointed out that it's weird to just watch home videos of a stranger.
Really?
You'll know this person yet.
But if you put it in a romantic context, it makes so much sense.
Also, the piano makes it all better.
Oh, the piano, and the pre-gaming before you got there with all the alcohol. And then just the fact that you have to get emotional, because otherwise you'll get sent home.
That's true.
You can't be Jordan V. You cannot be, because that's that's the other thing that we didn't mention, is when it was time to find out who was going to be on the date, everyone was like, oh boy, hopefully whoever it is doesn't get the Jordan V thing. I don't know if I want this date.
We also learned that both of them had fathers who would take them to the airport so they could watch the planes take off and land.
Right. Which I don't know if you had anything more to say about this.
Not really. It just seemed like an interesting coincidence that they bonded over.
Right. And I'm cynical, but it just seems like that's maybe not quite as uncommon as they want it to think.
I've never gotten to do that. Have you?
I've gone to the airport to watch planes. I mean, now look, I haven't taken to every airport I've come across to look at planes. I'm just saying, like, it's not so ridiculously strange that it's like, wow, this is 1 in a billion.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Look, I'm resisting the romanticism. Okay, I don't want it. But this date is her first date to go well.
Yeah, she even said something about experiencing unconditional love with Zach, which
please.
I thought was a bit premature.
Please, come on. We're on the Bachelorette here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What are you like? Come on, please. Well, so we get another one-on-one here.
Yes, with Erich and Gabby. So Gabby arrives at the mansion, and then her grandpa John comes in.
Yeah, so when the date card came out, it said something about three's a crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a 2-on-1. They promised 1-on-1s, and then old man Wendy? Is it Gabby Wendy, or is it it's Rach? Is it Rachel Wendy? I never remember.
No, it is Gabby Wendy.
Okay, so Grandpa Wendy.
I don't know what his last name is.
I know it probably isn't.
But
Wendy.
yes, the audience loves John, Grandpa John.
I feel like he really wasn't on board with any of this, but he was like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself.
Yeah, he's just here for the ride. And this was also another absolutely ridiculous date. So they arrive at this like tent thing set up.
It's like a Quonset hut, I believe you call it, which is like peak hippie structure.
We meet Kersha, a sound ceremony host.
I don't understand this, to be perfectly honest with you. I guess it's some sort of new age sort of harmonize yourself with the crystals and sound or something. Like, I'm not sure. It seemed like this is something that Gabby actually does.
She said so.
Based on what she was saying. And they, of course, when you're healing energetically, getting a sound bath, you got to start with an intention setting ceremony. You can't just laugh. You got to talk about it.
It just seemed so ridiculous to me. Like, what? I have a hard time with this stuff because it's not concrete. It's all very, like, in the mind, like, just talking, waving things around. I always have trouble with these, like, I don't know. We've seen like characters like this before on the show where it's just like, oh, we're gonna like throw some sage or just like
right.
Remember like that Cuddle Queen from a Katie season? Like, it's the same sort of thing.
How dare you say anything bad about the Cuddle Queen? Okay, I was thinking more of, and I don't remember what season it was on, but when they like brought in I don't know if it was like a native healer or whoever it was who like they had to write the bad things down and then throw them in the fire. Or
was that was like the very end of Katie's season? Remember that huge monster that was on fire?
Yeah, there's that thing. I think maybe
on Paradise. Yes, it was like Becca and Thomas maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think ABC likes to bring these sorts of things in because then they can be like, look, we're super inclusive. We bring in these other cultural ideas. We're not that racist and weird. I wrote down here, that lady really likes hitting those big glasses. Because she had these, they weren't really bells. They were more like big glass vases or something that she would hold in the air and ding, ding.
I mean, this was such a moving ceremony that John fell asleep.
Look, when you're that old, you don't have time for this. I was cracking up because he got an ITM and he was talking about how, at his age, it whatever, like you can experience new things. Doesn't mean you have to experience them again. And then he's like, now where's my beer?
It was very funny.
Like they were like, look, come on the show. Just support Gabby. We'll give you some beer afterwards. Talk to me about the bowling alley.
That looked a lot more fun.
Because bowling is an actual enjoyable activity.
Yeah. And so Gabby wants Grandpa John to have a date. So there just happens to be a random old lady named Julie who will join them.
Happens to be, not an actor.
Not planted at all.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have fun.
I just noted that they brought in the random old lady so that John would be distracted, so they had an opportunity to just sit there and make out.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
So that John didn't have to sit there just watching them.
That might have been a little awkward.
Or the producer's like, "Hey, John, you really need to go to the bathroom now." So I think this is a good time to start our conversation. And we don't have to end our conversation about it, but start our conversation about Gabby's, I don't know, self-image issues or I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but do you have any thoughts here?
I feel like I sort of understand what she's trying to say, although I don't have the life experience she has, because she talked about being estranged from her mom, not feeling her mother's love. And so I guess that probably informs a lot of, or at least for her it does, informs her feelings about all these romantic relationships she's in now. I don't know, it's a little difficult to understand, I guess, because she talks about am I too broken for anyone to love?
Right, am I too messy? All of this different stuff. And
I don't know if that's been a problem for her in the past. Maybe that's why she's bringing it up. But I guess I didn't quite understand the connection between having an estranged mother and then a guy not being interested in you.
Right, and it just, I don't know, it just seems like she's just very determined to be down on herself, which is weird to me. And again, I struggle to empathize in this case, and maybe this just reflects poorly on me, and maybe I need to just change my attitude. But I do have a tough time empathizing because you see her struggling with this, and obviously being together in certain areas doesn't mean you can't be not together in other areas. But it's weird to me to see someone like her when she's talking about later about I'm the imperfect bachelorette. What are you talking about? You're in the top whatever percentile of average beauty standard. You're you've been chosen to be the bachelorette, all these things, and you're still struggling.
Yeah, I didn't totally understand. Yeah, I didn't understand the imperfect bachelorette line. I feel like she doesn't quite fit the mold of the normal bachelorette that we usually have. So maybe that's part of it. And also the fact that nobody wanted to talk to her the day before at the mansion. I don't know. It also was just weird that it all came out on this date when she's on a one-on-one with a guy who seems interested in her.
Right. I mean, he's given her good attention. He's given her makeouts. he's put up with that granola energy stuff. Like he has done everything that would be expected of someone interacting with the Bachelorette.
Yeah, I don't think this was really about him. I also think the two women inevitably end up comparing themselves to each other, so that could be part of the insecurities. I don't know. I'm trying to understand like what she must be feeling in this situation, but it's hard.
Yes. Maybe we're just too cruel to understand. Maybe we're just too broken on the inside.
Too cynical
to understand. I just see, and obviously she's not in the same league as this, but I kind of see this situation. And I probably even have less nuance than you do, but it's like such a first world problem. But also even past that, it's sort of like celebrity type problem. Or like, oh, like how could anyone ever? It's like you're on national TV. Your Instagram follower count is probably going up week by week.
it is.
Like when you're off of the show, no matter like what happens, you're probably gonna get a buttload of sponsorships. Like you might end up on one of the Bachelor podcasts as the host. Like life is going very well for you.
Yes, that is all true. You have your whole pick of guys to choose from.
Right. And again, I'm struggling to be empathetic, and just because that is true doesn't mean that it can't also be true that she's struggling in that moment. It's just,
Yeah, I think this is more about her life experience than the Bachelorette role. But I think it's just coming out through the show.
maybe so. And this, honestly, this is yet again goes back to, we need to stop putting people on Bachelor shows instead of doing therapy.
True. I don't know if she's in therapy or not, but
I hope so.
Definitely some unresolved things there that may never be resolved.
Right. Well, that was quite the tangent. I apologize. It was something that was kind of bothering me all evening watching the show, and I wanted to talk about it.
So Erich does end up getting the rose. I mean, he says whatever he needs to say to secure it.
Oh yeah, you got to get that rose.
Yeah, a lot of making out.
So much making out. Well, let's get to the group date.
Yes, the massive group date we were promised. And look, Franco is back. They always use the same photographer, and it's always a wedding photo shoot, which this is getting tired. We need a new theme.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most of it wasn't a wedding photo shoot.
No, it's just, I don't know. We need a new date. We get this almost every season.
Look, they talked about it. It's classic. It's classic Bachelor.
This one did have some funny costumes, though. Like, Jacob's costume was just a leaf, which means he got black boxed the entire time. Mm-hmm. Ball was wearing a diaper, which I thought was funny.
Which I did want to mention. I said, the producers continue to not take Meatball seriously. And I think that I mean, look, we'll get to Meatball later as well, but I just think that this whole time he's basically just been the twins with a little bit more longevity. Like I think he wants to be on the show, like legitimately, but I think the producers just want to have him be a gimmick. Hence the diaper.
Well, he had to know he's a gimmick when you get handed a diaper and people call you Meatball instead of your actual name.
What is his actual name?
I don't know.
That is real bad. Unbelievable. Well, you're giving in to it.
Well, the Bachelorettes call him Meatball.
I know. I wonder, for his sake, I hope that people in his own life call him Meatball, and that's not just him getting messed with for the show.
I feel like this is just a show thing.
No, I don't want that. Oh, that would be unfortunate if that is the case. I was cracking up when they were interviewing Jacob. He was like, I have two settings, on and moron.
Wow. And if you like sort of combine those two words, it's moron.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what he
Do you
was.
think
That's what
he
he.
caught
Yes,
on to
that's what.
that?
No, that's what he was saying. Because he was talking about like how he was like really leaning into all of this stuff. Oh,
Yeah, I feel like
absolutely no. That was the whole joke, was that he was saying he was either on or a moron.
I didn't think he said a moron. I thought he said I'm either on or more on.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't think he had combined them.
He did, absolutely.
I guess I missed that.
I guarantee you. Yeah, this is just weird.
Yeah, we had like the labor and delivery section where you had a guy like
yeah,
as a baby.
that was Avon who was giving birth, and then you had Meatball who was delivered.
Somebody had a pregnancy belly. It was very strange.
And like the car wash thing.
Fake proposals, the guy who was in a car accident.
Yeah. I'm getting to the point where I sort of think that Franco just does this for his own pleasure. And he's just like, you know what would turn me on? Let's just get the car wash going. Like,
I mean, he was making a lot of like very like turned on comments as this was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was weird.
Just a little bit. You know, the photographer is supposed to be an impartial, objective person.
I don't want to be in a photo shoot and having the photographer be like, give it to me. Oh, yeah. Like, this is weird.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I don't care like what kind of photo shoot it is, or like engagement, after wedding, senior photo. Like it's weird. Man. I also, and you can go back if you need to, but I was just gonna say, I think that in addition to this, oh, we don't know what to do, let's just have them all do a photo shoot, I think that also you have that happen. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, let's just bring them to the local football stadium.
Yeah, we've seen this a bunch before, but I would have liked to go to SoFi. It's like this cool brand new stadium. Like,
wow, a date Christy would have liked to be on. You're like, I wouldn't have even talked to the Bachelor. I would have just explored the stadium.
Yes.
I don't care about getting sent home. Yeah, I'm just exploring. Whoa.
I mean,
brand new stadium.
I'm never going to actually go to one of those games because it's super expensive. So might as well take advantage of this.
Well, it's a pity. It's a pity you didn't make the cut for the season.
I know. What a shame.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting / weird how they didn't really, and maybe they had more that we didn't see, but they didn't really have much actual football content. Like they had a little bit where Rachel threw the football with Avon a tiny bit before they just started making out again, but I think that was the only actual football related content we saw. I mean, they just like brought a couch onto the field.
I mean, that makes sense considering it's the nighttime portion, which is usually a little quieter. What they should have done was do like a football thing for the daytime portion at the stadium.
No, they couldn't afford daytime rates for the stadium.
It's not like anybody's using it at the moment.
Could only afford nighttime.
Oh well.
Yeah. Talk to me about everything that goes down here, because
so things are going fine, it seems. Like Rachel's connecting with people, and then Gabby.
Well, can I just say, Rachel's like, oh, this is going so well. I hope that Gabby's really just having a grand old time. Cut to.
She wasn't. So Gabby's chatting with Tyler, and he basically tells her he feels a good connection with Rachel and that he won't be pursuing her. So she thanks him for being honest, and then it happens again with Hayden. Hayden's like, today gave me a lot of clarity. Now, I'm not sure how he got clarity from the photography date. But after that photography date, he's like, well, I like Rachel better. And then he has the nerve to tell her that she's like bubbly, goofy, and rough around the edges. And so they stand up and he is like, you're the best. You do look great tonight. As if that softens the rough around the edges blow.
I wouldn't want to date you, but you look great.
It's just no tact at all.
You think that wasn't any tact? Did you hear what Jacob said to her?
Oh, that was pretty bad too.
Yes, if you were the only one here, I don't think that I could go forward with this process.
And then has the nerve to be like, you're smoking, as he stands up and they're just standing there drinking the alcohol. Let's get back in there and have some fun.
Guys are dumb.
So awkward.
Guys are dumb.
So yes, Gabby got rejected 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which, after all the stuff we've heard from her this episode, that couldn't have felt good.
Right.
Especially the rough around the edges quote. That one really sucks. Because that just implies that you're just like unpolished, not worthy of me dating you. Like, that's a terrible thing to say.
Really? I guess I maybe didn't take it that terribly, but then again, maybe I am just rough around the edges myself. So it's like, yeah.
No, you don't want to hear that.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course, you get some fallout here. I mean, predictably, I would say Avon gets Rachel's rose, but then, dun dun dun, Gabby's like, I'm sorry, but there's been some major BS happening here, and I am not gonna give my rose.
I know, the look on Rachel's face was pretty funny, because I guess she wasn't clued in ahead of time.
No.
So she just had like this shocked look. And also, when Gabby came down the stairs to like join the group date, her hair was like really messy. So it seemed like she'd been laying down maybe, or for a while.
I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty just all over the place. Even I noticed. I don't notice stuff like that. And even I was like, wow, that's kind of messy. But she's had a rough evening. So
yes.
It's understandable. I did say in my notes that no cocktail party because Gabby is butthurt.
Yes. Oh, but before that, I wanted to mention that moment where Gabby and Rachel are walking away from the group date, and Gabby has to fill her in on everything that happened, and Rachel is shocked.
I guess I wouldn't be as shocked as she is. Like, I totally get that they were kind of, well, I guess one of them wasn't terrible, I don't think, but a couple of them were idiots in how they phrased everything.
Yeah, Hayden and Jacob.
Right. So yeah, I get that, but besides that, I feel like it shouldn't be that shocking. Like, the guys are gonna like one or the other. Yeah,
the issue isn't that you like one more or want to pursue one over the other. It's the way you say it, and then like with your insults as you say it. Like, there was no reason to say that. You could have just said, hey, I like Rachel more, I'm going to pursue her, and that should have been the end of it.
Right. I just think that you probably would have had similar effect even if they had just been like, sorry, like Rachel, bye-bye.
I mean, maybe. I just think the insult on the way out with it really just...
Well, I mean, it wasn't fun.
Drove it
home. It wasn't fun. That is for sure. Yeah, Rachel was not happy about that.
No.
She even wanted to confront them, but they're like, it's not
Yeah,
worth
but
it.
Gabby was like, no, I'll wait.
No. He's like, I'll wait. I'll get my revenge later.
And so I also found this little like interlude, I guess the next morning with Gabby and Rachel interesting because they're like talking about how messy it is letting the men choose. And they're like, we need to make a change, which the producers are continuing this narrative that they are in charge.
They're totally in charge.
Which I'll bring back up in a second. And so, yes, back to what you were saying. The cocktail party is canceled.
Jesse finally gets some airtime.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I know I'm not the expected person here, but no cocktail party.
So then he informs them that they will be on separate journeys now, which, like, this needed to happen, but also I don't think it could have happened any sooner because you have to, like, actually talk to people in order to determine which one.
Right, you can't just randomly make I mean, I guess maybe you could based on previous Bachelor seasons, but it seems a little weird to just expect them to do that immediately with no context.
We had to have all this mess before we could get to the like separate journeys. And so the rose ceremony starts and basically they just alternated back and forth. Rachel gave her rose to Tino and Logan attempted to give it to Tremaine. And so, once again, these guys like have to couch the rejection with like all these extra words that aren't needed. Like, we could be great friends outside of this.
I don't think so.
No. So he declines. So then it's like really awkward and confusing because then like Jesse walks in and is like, well, you get to join the line again. And if Gabby doesn't give you a rose, you'll be heading home, which it seems like they should have explained that before we started. Like, did the guys know that? Would they have still rejected a rose?
I don't think so. And here's like, I just had a problem with that because I know this whole process is weird and unfair and all that, but I just thought it was pretty unfair to do it like that. And I think we determined that Rachel did have more roses than Gabby did because presumably the producers knew which way things were going to go. But it seems unfair to me that you would do it in this way. And I know they probably just wanted the numbers to be even or close to even. It's just, I guess the problem I had with it was this entire season, the guys have been pushed to make a choice, be intentional, make a choice, and made a choice. And it's like, well, because you made a choice, you're screwed.
Yeah, because none of the people who rejected Rachel got chosen by Gabby. So I guess actually once Tremaine happened and he has to rejoin the line, then anybody else knows what the deal is. So like I would let Tremaine off the hook if he didn't know that's how it was going to work. But then Alec also rejects Rachel. And then all this time she's getting roses removed.
Right.
Which if Rachel and Gabby are truly in charge of their journey, how is Jesse able to remove a rose? Explain that one. Except for the fact that we need the numbers to be even.
But why though?
That didn't make any sense either.
It doesn't make sense to me that you need the numbers to be even because it's like you can always eliminate more people later. It seems like, and I guess that's the other problem I had with this is like why are you so concerned about keeping things even now? Like this is the start of
individual journeys. Yeah, that didn't,
so why then set it up in a way that basically puts Gabby in the position of, okay, now I have to go ahead and choose, like, because she's obviously chosen who she wants to give roses to. And like, okay, now you've put her in a position where like, okay, do I take this rose that I was going to use on this person and use it for someone else who has specifically said that they are here for me?
Yeah, which that I guess, so Gabby didn't get any rejections here, maybe because she got 3 rejections the night before on the group date, so she knew who to actually give her roses to. So she gave hers to Nate, Johnny, Spencer, Jason, Mario, Kurt, Quincy, and Michael, which is 8 of them plus from the one-on-one date with Eric, so she has 9 people. Rachel only successfully handed out 6 roses, but she had the 2 from earlier with Eric and no, not Eric, Zach, and who got an Avon.
Right. I guess I was really struggling to make sense of this because like there's no real rule as to how many people you can have. I mean, the only time that you get to that point really is fantasy suites, right?
Yeah, or hometowns.
Or hometowns, I guess. But like, I guess so. What I'm saying is, why unnecessarily narrow the field now if you know, or if you truly are, as you claim to be, like, this is about them finding love and everything. So who cares if it's uneven for an episode or maybe 2 episodes, but probably just 1 episode? Who cares about that if it's actually about them finding love? So what? She has 3 more people. Well, she'll have to cut them eventually, but you're going to have to cut down eventually anyways. So,
you know what I just thought of though? Since the only people that left were, well, mostly the only people that left were the ones Rachel rejected, Gabby didn't want them. So those 3 roses would have been unused anyway, because there was nobody else to pick from. Maybe like 1 guy. I think
there's
4.
Jacob.
I think 4 guys went home, and Rachel rejected 3 of them. Right?
I thought there were another couple, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I'm missing some guy. I think there were maybe 2. Because I thought we had 21 before.
Yeah, we started with 21. So you're saying that 5 guys went home?
I think so.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It looks like there were 3 or 4. And
all I remember is Jacob sitting there, sad, that being naked couldn't help him.
Did anybody try to give him a rose?
No.
Okay, he was just, nobody was interested.
No, nobody cared enough to.
So yeah, that's at least 4 guys that went home. Yeah, it just seems like she wouldn't have had very many guys to use up those 3 rejected roses on anyway, but yeah. I don't know, just a very weird rose ceremony. It was very entertaining though.
Yeah. I don't know,
just the awkwardness of like the 3 who rejected her being like, that pause after she asked the question. Mm-hmm. Very awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still just weird to me that they hammered in so much that they wanted the guys to take a stand and make a choice, but then anybody who did got screwed.
Well, because they were still trying to say that this is their journey, the Bachelorette journey. So they're the ones who are supposed to have the power. And they even talked about like after, like, this was supposed to like give us back the power, but it didn't, because it's
like, no way, because you never had the power.
No,
the producers always had the power. You are pawns
exactly
in their diabolical game. How has this not been realized by everyone by now? That you have no power. You have perceived power. The only power you have is the power that the producers want you to think you have. You don't even have that power. You just think you have it.
Yep, that is right. So, I don't know, it might get... They might have more perceived power going forward since they're separate now. And there really shouldn't be crossover. Unless one guy decides to change his mind or something, but
I don't see that happening. I feel like that's an immediate send home.
yeah. So then at the end, we had Meatball, who like
he regrets taking a stand.
He gets to stay a bit and chat with Rachel, and he's like, "We didn't get that one-on-one time. He wants another shot." And Rachel rightly pointed out, "I gave you a rose." So we end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I suspect that she'll give him a second chance just because then that would be 9-9. But that's just my speculation there.
Yeah, I also think because we barely eliminated anyone the first week, they kind of had to make another major cut, which could also be why some of those roses were taken away, because they still have to keep to the same episode count, but you still have a ton of guys left. So
yeah, it's just that I don't know. It's not as many guys as it actually, like, there are obviously, each guy is one guy, like they aren't less of people or anything, but because you have the two bachelorettes and you are splitting it, you effectively do have half as many guys, even though you have the same amount of guys. If they are just insisting on, kind of keeping everything smushed together, like, I don't know, whatever week the hometowns is you get all of the hometowns. And I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to have to buy some more airtime. I mean, we've had that happen before where they've had to split things up. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we do have a lot of guys, but we have less guys than it maybe appears just because of the format they're doing.
yeah, and also like a lot of former leads will probably tell you there's only a few they actually like from the cast, so dumping off a bunch now is not a huge loss, because if they each have like 9, that means they only have to eliminate 5 before you get to hometowns.
Yep.
So it should be a little easier.
Oh, easy peasy. Well, do you have anything else for us, Christy?
No, I think that was all we saw.
That was it? Well, I guess I will give our kiss counter. We had 21.
That's a respectable number.
Real busy this episode, despite all of the drama and angst. There it was. But yeah, how can people get in touch with us?
You can email us at groupdatespod@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram and Twitter at groupdatespodcast.
Christy is tweeting up a storm, so make sure you go and follow and like and check us out on YouTube and write 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. I mean, we need your help so bad. We're trying to make a single dollar. That is my goal, is to somehow
just $1
make $1. Right now we are so deep in the hole, and that $1, it's not going to help at all. But for my own personal and professional pride, that's what I want. So we need your help, everyone. We need your help.